Here we go. So I was saying that this isn't going to be like information overload session. I kind of want this hour or so to be quite practical. So I will give you some information because like some of you have never used Instagram stories, some of you use it a lot, got a whole big range of how comfortable everyone feels about it. So I will kind of give you an overview, but I would also like you to have a little play around on your phone, on the app, see if you can find the things that we're talking about. You can have a go at sharing something today. You can have a go at finding all the things that I'm going to point out to you. And then you can work out how you can not just do it for today, but ideally do it ongoing. I'm just going to let Helen in as well, because Helen's going to join us. Give me a minute. Oh, it's been a little bit slow to log in. What is Zoom doing today? I don't want to start without her though. Give me a second. You're having your tea. Tea or your lunch? I've got tea. Tea. Is Helen in? Helen has joined us. Wonderful. Okay. Right. So I haven't got a lot of slides. It's not big. It's not a big presentation. But if you have worked with me one-to-one or you've come to one of my show up events, you would have heard me talk about content strategy and the funnel that exists on Instagram. So I'll give you a little overview. There are kind of like three main spaces on Instagram. You've got the top of your funnel, which is your feed posts and your reels, and that is where we are really trying to attract people in with the content that we share. Okay, it's called top of funnel because anybody in theory could see it, and anybody, you could attract anybody that's on Instagram. But we're trying to get them from the kind of public space of Instagram into our audience, which is going to be much, much smaller. Okay, that's why it's kind of like a funnel shape, right? You've got the opportunity to reach lots and lots of people at the top, and then we bring them into our audience and it gets a little bit smaller. So our feed posts and our reels posts are there to like attract people in. Instagram stories is like that kind of middly space where people who are in your audience want to see more from you. So I should have drawn it here. I always draw Instagram stories as that like little middle area in the funnel where people maybe know a bit about you, maybe they've seen you, maybe they've seen content from you, but they're looking to see more from you before maybe they trust you or they buy from you or they reach out to you. So the content in Instagram stories has a different job, has a different purpose. Your reels and your feed posts are there to attract people in, tell you what you're good at, tell you what you're an expert at, all the amazing things that you can do for people. But your Instagram stories have like a different purpose because it's for people who already know that bit. They already know that bit. They want to know more. Okay. And then the very bottom of the funnel is your DMs, your inbox, your private space where you speak to people one-to-one, which is where most of us do our relationship building, where we might share links to things that we want people to buy or sign up for, or where we do that kind of following up and checking in with people one-to-one. Okay. So we're going to talk today about Instagram stories, that space in the middle. Okay. I'm going to come out of this and I'm going to use this little cheat sheet that I made. Oh, I don't know if anyone can see this now. Let's go back to this. So does that make sense so far? Like dividing out the three main areas of Instagram is how I see it in my brain. That top of the funnel bit of everything that's on your feed and what people see when they come on your profile, that Instagram stories space, when they want to see more than that, the more kind of personal stuff, the more real life stuff, we'll go into that in a lot more detail. And then the bottom of the funnel, your DM space. If you're not clear on that, let me know in the chat or come off screen and we can go into it a bit more detail. Why can't I find there it is. Okay. So Instagram stories, this is like everything you need to know. I put it on one page. I don't know if everyone can see that. Can everyone see that? Yeah. Okay. Some of you will be familiar with this stuff, but I'm going right back to the beginning to make sure that everyone's got, you know, from the beginning basics info. Right, so what are Instagram stories then? Instagram stories are perfect for real-time content. So the content that you might share on your feed or in Reels can be taken or created at any point in time, really. And sometimes those messages don't change from week to week to month to year, really. But the stuff in Instagram stories is a lot more real time, as in, what are you doing today? What are you doing today? What have you done this week? What is topical right now? Okay. So it's more real time content. And so I don't personally plan my Instagram stories because it's whatever is going on that day, whatever ideas I've got, whatever thoughts I've got, whatever has happened that day or potentially that week. I don't necessarily plan for it, but I will share with you what I use instead, which is like a schedule. Okay. This kind of real-time content is then different to the stuff that's pre-planned, right? The stuff that's pre-planned can be a little bit more polished and filtered and strategic. The stuff that is real time is going to be a little bit, I don't want to say rough around the edges, but it's a little bit more realistic and authentic. It's what's going on today, how you're looking today, how you're feeling today, okay? And that's why it works perfectly in Instagram stories, because your feed does one job, bringing people in, showing your expertise, all of that good stuff. But then when your audience want more, they want to see, you know, the behind the scenes, the real life, the how you talk, the how you think on a day-to-day basis, okay? Instagram stories, when you share a post as a Instagram story, it is only visible and it's only live for 24 hours. And after 24 hours, it disappears. So it's only viewable to your audience within that 24-hour slot. After then, it will go into your archive. No one can see it after that time. I quite like knowing that, because with it being real-time content, it's not going to make sense for someone to see it a week or two later. The whole point is that it's what's going on now. And I think the fact that you know that it disappears means that it actually doesn't need to be as thought out or as purposeful maybe, or more strategic as some of your other content. You can share what's going on today, and then you know what, tomorrow it will disappear. It's no big deal. If you want to try something new, if you want to share something new, do something different, it gives you almost like a license to have a go. And then if it wasn't quite right or it didn't quite land, no problem. We go again tomorrow. So I think Instagram stories is a really good place to try stuff and experiment stuff, because you've got that kind of that window of it being visible and then it's just gone. You may have seen when you've looked on the app, when you're looking at, you know, you're scrolling through everybody's lovely content on your feed, you will have lots of circles along the top of the app. Any of those circles along the very top of the app are people's live Instagram stories. So when I've shared something and it is live for 24 hours, I will pop to the top of the app, and if you see my little face in the circle at the top, it means I've got a story that is live, something that I've shared in the last 24 hours. And you can scroll through that and you can choose particular people's stories to watch, or you can start watching the first one and it will automatically move through all the people, like link everybody's stories together. Instagram will show you people's stories in a particular order. So if you find that you always open the app and there's always the same person's face there at the top, because they've always got a live story, it's because you've somehow in the past engaged with them already, or you engage with them a lot. And so Instagram are like, well, this must be someone that you like, must be one of your favorite people if you're always chatting to them, always engaging in their content. So we're going to show you their stuff first because we think you're going to like the other stuff they share. So if there's people that you engage with a lot, you will start to see more of their stories and more of their content. For the people that you don't engage with a lot, Instagram are going to show you their stuff less and less. So every now and again, what I suggest that you do, sometimes I do this, is not watch them in order that Instagram shows you. You can just slide across, scroll, and go, you know what, I'm going to watch some stories from people that I haven't seen for a while, and I'm going to go and chat to them, and I'm going to go and see what they're up to and engage with them and kind of like refresh the algorithm a bit and refresh some of the people that the content that I see. That's perfectly within your control. You can just keep scrolling for a little while. You might even get all the way to the end. I've never got all the way to the end before. And engage with some people who you haven't seen for a while. Okay. Lovely. Right, so we've done that in those circles. Great for connection. Instagram stories is the perfect place for you to share more lifestyle content, more personal content, more human content, because your feed posts have that purpose of bringing people in and giving them value and showing what your expertise is. But the people in your audience then want to see more from you, and what they usually want to see more of is the behind the scenes everydayness stuff that makes you relatable and makes them feel like they're getting to know you like they would get to know a friend or someone that they actually know in real life. So things like your travel or your holidays or your food or your family or your pets or your fitness journey or your home, like the things that make up the rest of your life, not just your business. So I would say mainly business focused on your feed and your reels. But Instagram stories, anything goes, because there's other areas in your life that are important to you, where you're sharing your values, where you're networking with other people, where you're at events, where you're at the shops, whatever it is else that's important to you, that's going on in your life, not just your business, fits nicely in Instagram stories. You've got scope within Instagram stories to share all sorts of different formats. So you can share text, you can share images, videos, you can reshare other people's content, you can reshare things that you've been tagged in, and you can combine them in lots of different ways that make it, you know, a really creative way of sharing things, adding GIFs, adding music, adding stickers. There's loads of different ways that you can combine all the different formats to make it look more, if you want to like tie it in with the rest of your branding, you could totally do that. Or if you just want to add some more fun, silly stuff, that fits nicely in Instagram stories as well. If you haven't come across engagement stickers, I feel like I tell people this all the time, but this is like the best bit of Instagram stories, the stickers. Instagram have given you like a library, as a picture there of all this, like a screenshot of all the different stickers. It's like a library of easy ways for people to interact with you, because it's in Instagram's interest as well for people to engage with your content, but you want people to engage with your content too. So there are things like poll stickers, question stickers, quizzes, music, there's emojis and sliders and the link sticker and the location sticker. Lots of things for people to be able to really easily interact with, usually with just a tap. They don't even need to think very hard. They usually just need to tap something or move something. And it's intentionally meant to be easy so that people don't have to think too hard about it. They don't get, you know, they don't scroll onto something else. It's going to be, it's made as a little sticker that you can drop onto the video or onto the picture. So it's super, super simple. My favorite one is the poll sticker. I do use the poll sticker a lot because then you can give people options and all they need to do is click their option. They don't need to think of anything else. They don't need to send you a big long message. They just need to click an option, and then you can see what they have voted for on the poll. And I'll go into insights in a little while, but you can see the outcome of the poll, like who has clicked what, like the results of it, but then you actually get to see who the individual voters are. And that can be really important for following up, finding people who are interested, continuing those conversations. The other thing I love about Instagram stories is how it's really easily linked to your DMs. I don't know that Facebook does this in the same way. I don't know that TikTok even does this in the same way. But when somebody replies to your story or joins in with, you know, a question box, sends you an answer, that then goes into your DMs, into your inbox, and there's like a little conversation there, kind of like how you would see your emails in your your email inbox. Very, very similar. So just by someone kind of engaging in a poll, you know, sending you an emoji, replying to your story, it then opens up a little private conversation in your DMs. And then you've got the option then of sending them a reply and having that much more personal one-to-one conversation, which can then lead to sales or collaborations or further opportunities. So I think the connection there between Instagram stories and your DMs is really, really strong. Most people are not really aware of how much they're connected. And then that gives you a reason, that's the why, really, why we're trying to get so many people to engage in our Instagram stories, that we can actually get into have those conversations with them. And depending on how you sell your thing, whether you've got products, whether you've got online services, whether you are looking to book people in, arrange a meetup, however you like to do it, however it works for your business, the one-to-one space is always the best way to do it. You can send them a link to a sign-up page. You can send them an online calendar. You can send them the link to the Facebook group. Once they're in that one-to-one space, it seems to convert much, much better than the old link in my bio from feed posts. The kind of conversion that you get, the more people that actually do that is much, much higher when they've come through Instagram stories compared to when they've seen a reel of yours that's sort of gone, if you're interested, hit the link in my bio. That kind of doesn't tend to work as much anymore. People tend to come through, come into your audience, they want to see more from you, they'll come through Instagram stories, and they'll come through that kind of one-to-one conversation, come in that way. I've given you a lot of information. Is there any questions so far? Let me stop sharing for a second. I don't want to just talk at you. So if there's any questions so far, anything you want me to just go back over, expand on that, just come off mute and pop your hand up or shout. All good. Okay, cool. Okay, that's fine. Right, what I do have for you, or I can share with you, because I said that I don't plan my stories, but what I do have in my head is like a little schedule based on the day of the week that it is. So, although I haven't planned what I was going to share in Instagram stories today, I could use this prompt to get me to share something. So Monday is always a good start for like what's going on in the week. You could give an overview of what's coming up in your week, any highlights, anything you're looking forward to, business or lifestyle. What are you excited about? What are you looking forward to? What's going on? Key dates or deadlines that your audience would want to know about if you're running a webinar this week, or something is on sale on Friday, or you've got an event, you know, this Wednesday, you know, remind people, let people know this is just what's going on this week. This shouldn't feel weird. It's not you're not trying to sell, you're just trying to tell people what is going on this week. That's all it is. So Monday's a good one to say what's going on this week. And if it leads to it, you could sort of say, you know, you can say how people could get involved in what you're doing. It might be that you want to remind them about a deadline or remind them about an event if it kind of links. But Monday's a good one for just what is going on. Okay. Tuesday. I've done this one for years because I just think Tuesday task. Tell us about one of your tasks. So think of something that you do in your business really regularly. It's probably so mundane and boring to you that you are really going to struggle to think of it. But I want you to think of something that you do in your business, and I want you to really talk us through what it is that you do in lots of details. So it might be that you are designing a new, I'm trying to think of who we've got on here, like designing a new poster for one of your summer boxes, for example. I'm trying to think of Rachel's business. You know, talk us through what is involved in that. You know, like how do you come up with the ideas? What's involved in that? Do you do that on the computer? Is that just you? Is that a team? What resources do you use? You know, talk us through one of your tasks that you're doing in a lot more detail. And it will be in a lot more detail than you would probably put on your feed post or maybe even your website. But just show people like one of the little tasks that you do and just try and show us what's involved in that task on a Tuesday. So if you've got nothing to share on a Tuesday, you can talk us through one of your tasks. Share a win on Wednesday. I know lots of you do this, loving the wins on the Wednesday, or something that's going well. So share a win that's from you or your customers or your business in general or your family or someone that you know or something that's going well. Like think positively and share something that's, you know, something that's happened that's gone well, that's been positive, it's made you smile, it's made you feel like you're progressing. It's just another kind of way of talking about your business or talking about something that's going on in your life. You can share a win on Wednesday. Something that's like not business based at all really is like, what are you thinking Thursday? So this is more what's going on in your life. What are you watching on telly? You know, anything that's kind of topical or important in your life that's not related to business, like what else is going on? And what's really good for this is expanding it into asking your audience what they think about it, or asking them a related question, even asking for their advice on the topic. People love giving advice. And I will sometimes do this, even if I've kind of already made up my mind or I've narrowed it down to a couple of options, I will ask for someone's advice, or I will ask, you know, on a poll what options people think best, just to sort of like get that conversation going or get that discussion going, even if you kind of really already have decided or you already kind of know the answer. Asking for people's advice is a good sort of way of getting those discussions going. But you know, if you've seen a film recently that you loved, or you've had like flowers delivered at your door, or you've had to buy a special present for somebody, you know, not the business stuff. It's like, what are you thinking elsewhere in your life? What's kind of topical or seasonal at the moment? And then Friday I love, because Friday is just a little bit of fun, something to celebrate at the end of the week. What's made you happy? What's gone really well? What have you got going on over the weekend? Have you spotted something funny or silly during the week that you actually think would be good to share with people just for fun? And you can share it with your audience on a Friday and just sort of like, it's the end of the week, woohoo, celebrate. So if you've spotted like a reel from somebody else or like a meme or something that your audience would get, that would be a good time to share it on a Friday. So I don't tend to plan stories as such, but I will think, oh, what day is it? Okay, I will try to do one of these things. And it kind of depends on what's going on in the week. And you could totally use that as well. I will screenshot this and put it in the group or send it out to us, to everybody, if you think that would be helpful. And then it just depends on what's going on that week. You just kind of fit it in. Cool. Okay, so I've gone over my one page. I've gone over my schedule. There was a couple of other things that I want to go through, or just some little tips and hacks. But I just want to check that everyone is still with me. Yeah, everyone's still with me. Okay, cool. I've shared this on my Instagram stories this morning, the hands-free feature. I forget that not everyone knows these things are on there. But when you are talking to the camera, I always use the hands-free feature, and I will show you where it is to make sure you all know where it is. Because what that does is, by putting it on hands-free when you're talking to the camera, it brings up this little timer at the bottom so that you can see how much time you've got left before the story runs out and it cuts you off. Because you probably tried to film some videos before, and after 60 seconds, it just cuts you off. So the little timer at the bottom shows you how long you've got left, so you can kind of start to finish your sentence, wrap up what you're going to say so it finishes perfectly on 60 seconds. So when you let's come out of this and I'll make myself bigger. When you open up your app and you go to share a story, if you've got your menu at the bottom here, this little plus for create a post, and then you need to make sure that you are on the story toggle, not the reel toggle. So on the story toggle, and it will open up your camera by default, right? Because it wants you to share something, wants you to talk to camera on stories. There is a menu down the left-hand side here. It's on the left-hand side for mine. I don't know if it's going to be on the left-hand side for everybody's. But at the moment, you can only see one icon and an arrow, and that's because it's been collapsed down. If you click that arrow, it opens up the whole of the left side menu. And this is where you've got lots of other funky things. The thing I wanted to show you right now is the hands-free feature, okay? So this will mean that you can talk to the camera without having to have your thumb on the record button the whole time, right? So you have this, when you've clicked on hands-free, you have this big record button. I'm trying to show you this big record button here at the bottom. You only need to click it once, it will start recording. After 60 seconds, it will stop, unless you click it again and stop it before 60 seconds, okay? So just as an example, I'm going to show you this one. So I'm going to press it and it will start recording, okay? So I am recording something on my stories right now. And I don't know if you can see, I'm trying to make it close to the camera. There is like a little coloured timer that's going round, right? So it's about a quarter of the way now. So you know that you're 15 seconds in. So you could be talking to the camera. This is what's going on this week. I'm going to be running this event and it's going to be so good. And I would love everybody to come. And it's going to involve X, Y, Z. And you can keep an eye on this timer. So you know, right, okay, it's getting down to the bottom. That means I'm halfway through, I'm 30 seconds through. And you can tell them all the great things about it, and you've worked really hard on it, and loads of people have asked you to run this kind of event, and you've made sure that we've got a photographer, blah, 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 and it's going to include this, and it's this amount. You can say, right, okay, it's on 45 seconds now, so I probably need to start finishing off what I want to say, finishing off the last couple of things that I'm going to say, because when it gets to the top, it will just cut me off. Okay? I am recording something on my stories right now. And so you can watch it back, but it will be exactly 60 seconds then. It will have cut you off at 60 seconds. You can then choose to add things like captions and stickers, etc., etc. You can watch it back along the bottom. If for whatever reason you wanted to edit it down, cut bits off, you could. And I won't actually post that. If you wanted to not post it, you can just press back. post it. But what I love about that, the hands-free option, is that you can then focus on the talking. You know, if you're walking along or you're outside, you then don't have to hold down the record button. And you just have to sort of keep an eye on the timer at the bottom, so that when it gets nearer to 60 seconds, you kind of wrap up what you're talking about. And then you've got like a full one story, 60 seconds for whatever you're sharing that day. Awesome. Hopefully everyone has found that. If you haven't found it, let me know. I'll point it out to you. And if you've never used it, I want you to have a go, have a play around with it today. Maybe share something where you're talking to the camera and you've used that option. It might be a bit funny at first. You might not know where to look because you're looking at the timer, you're looking at the camera. Am I meant to be holding it? But it's just one of those things that you do a couple of times and then you get better, I promise. So that was my first little tip there, hands-free feature. The other thing is about lighting. So a lot of people say to me, oh, I could never talk on camera because it just looks crap, or I only have time to do it when I'm in the car, or I only have time to do it and it's always dark in my office or whatever. So just consider the lighting for where you are and consider how it makes you feel, because it actually doesn't make any difference whether it's dark or light, but it will make a difference to how you feel if you don't think you look good on camera, or you think you look tired, or nobody can see your face properly, or you don't feel confident about how you're coming across. So the lighting really isn't for your audience, I don't think. The lighting is more for you if you think that you are coming across in the best way, and you feel confident speaking on camera because you feel like the lighting is flattering and you feel like you're delivering something that you want people to be associated with your business or your brand. So I always try to look for the natural light. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the ring lights and the big artificial lights at all. I'd much rather just find a window or kind of move around in the space that I am to be like, okay, where is the window? Where is the light coming in? And kind of position myself towards the light, just so that I feel like I'm looking not the best possible, but compared to having the light behind you, you just feel like it looks more flattering. So then I feel a little bit more confident in what I'm saying and I can come across better. So just a little note there about thinking about the lighting for where you are, and have the lighting in front of you as opposed to behind you, so that you feel like you're coming across in the best way. Habit stacking. I've talked previously about habit stacking to do with Instagram stories. If you've not come across the term habit stack, it kind of means where you stack habits together. You kind of group habits together to encourage you to stick to them. So like going for a walk and drinking a bottle of water, you could stack together to make sure that every time you go for a walk, you drink a bottle of water. And you're bound to do, like when you do one, it's kind of paired with the other one. I do this with cups of tea in the morning. When I go to make a cup of tea, maybe about 10:30, 11, I have now stacked it with a little cue, it's a little reminder for me to share something on Instagram stories. So usually if I am home, I will share something on my Instagram stories between 10 and 11, because I've already stopped halfway through the morning for a little break, little cup of tea, little biscuit maybe. And I've gone, right, while literally you may have seen me, while the kettle is boiling, I will think, what day is it? What's going on right now? What could I share? What could I tell people about? What could I document? And while I'm making a cup of tea, or even afterwards, I will, spend the 60 seconds, the couple of minutes doing it. And then it's done for the day. I know that 24 hours block on Instagram stories is done. There's something that's live that day. Even if I'm really, really kind of busy with plenty of other things, if I've stopped to have a cup of tea in the morning, I will probably have shared something on Instagram stories. So you might not want to stack those two things together, but you might find that you can stack it with something else. And the whole kind of idea behind this is that when you do one thing, it reminds you to do the other thing. So what is it that you're going to do regular enough that you're going to go, right, every time I put my trainers on, I'm reminded to just share a quick update, or every time I drop the kids off, once I've got back in the car, I could share something on Instagram stories, or once I've walked the dog and we've got home, like, then, you know what I mean? You have to find something that you could pair with it that's going to remind you to do it. Because half the time it's remembering to do this, because it's not something that's so pre-planned. It's remembering to do it on a daily basis, or maybe not even daily, like 3, 4, 5 times a week would be sufficient. But if you're working on your business every day, or you want to be visible Monday to Friday, find something that you're doing regularly, that you can habit stack it with. Cool. We're almost there. I know it's 1:45, and I want to make sure that we've got a bit of time to explore it and have a go at sharing something. Couple of other things then. Stickers, Instagram stickers. I love them. We want to be using them more than you probably are. And I like to think of stickers having one of two purposes. Either you are sharing a sticker just for engagement's sake, just for chatting to people, interacting with people, having a conversation, getting to know them. And that is perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine for you to share a picture of a cake and say, if we went to Costa, what would you order? It has nothing to do with your business, but it's perfectly okay to do that, to get interaction, to start chatting to people, to start conversations. It's perfectly fine to do that. So if there are some things that you're thinking, oh, well, who's going to care about my pictures at Legoland or whatever, and you've put a sticker on there and people have gone, yeah, I'd love to go to Legoland or whatever, and you think, this is nothing to do with the thing that I'm selling, it still has a purpose. So don't feel like it's pointless. It still has a purpose of interacting, engaging with your audience. The other kind of stickers that I might use are a little bit more sales focused or leads focused, and it might be like, I'm going to run this event again in 3 months' time. Would you like some info about the dates? And it's a lot more direct, because then I'm looking for the people that are going, yes, can you let me know the information? Yes, can you send me the link? And they're the people that I know high priority to follow up with. The people that are going to say, oh yeah, if I go to Costa, I'm going to order a chocolate cake, I wouldn't order a lemon cake. Okay, that's great conversation, but they're not necessarily people that I would need to follow up with, because they haven't told me they're interested in the thing that I sell. Both of them are important. You want to have a bit of both, but just understanding the difference. So some stuff is just like purely for conversation, some stuff is like more sales focused. Have a bit of a balance of both. I want to show you where the insights are. So go into your app. Ideally, you would have something live on your stories right now. If you don't, please don't panic. I'm not going to tell you off, but I am going to show you where you can find the insights to your story. And when I say insights, I mean the kind of numbers behind it. Who has viewed it? Who has interacted with any of the stickers? You know, the reach, the interaction, it gives you all the data for your stories, okay? So let me show you one of mine. So this is one of mine that I shared yesterday. And if I want to see the data, the insights behind it, all you need to do is swipe up, okay? Swipe up, and then it opens up this menu here at the bottom. There was a little graph, and there's also like a little eye icon. The eye icon tells you how many people have seen it. So looking at this one here, I've had 162 people view that story that I shared yesterday, 162 people. And then it lists the people for you. It shows you all the people who viewed it. So these are all the people that viewed that specific story. So if I want to know if someone has seen something, or I want to see Who are these people that are watching my stories? Who are these people in my audience? These are all the people. I can go and see them. I can find out exactly who they are. If you click on the little graph, it gives you an overview, gives you all your sort of stats of like how many people it reached and whether anybody then clicked onto your profile. So this is interesting. So of those 162 people that have seen this story, 3 of them have then visited my profile. Interesting. It gives you a breakdown of, followers, non-followers. Instagram stories is likely to be 99% of your followers because they're already in your audience. So that's no surprise. But it can give you a breakdown here if you scroll down further, any of the specifics of that story. The most interesting bit is the list of everybody who's seen it, because you can go down and be like, oh, Nicole's watched my story. I wonder if she's interested in something else I do. Or that reminds me, I need to get back to her message about something. So knowing the specific people is really, really useful. And there's this little handy little, I don't know if you can see this arrow here at the end. So I'm going to use Nicole as an example. So I wanted to reply to Nicole because I know she's seen this story. If I click that little arrow there, I can send her a reply message straight from this menu. You can add some emojis, you can say what you like, you can reply right from here without having to come out of this. Okay, so you can go down the line and you can find who these people are. If they've got a live story, you could even watch their story. So this person here's got a live story. They've watched my story. I could go and watch their story. That'd be funny. So this list here is really, really important. And lots of people don't know that this list is here. So this tells you who is looking at your stories. It tells you who is interacting with your stories. These are your warm people. These are your interested people. So it's worth checking in with that. If your stories have run out or you haven't shared any, you haven't got any that are live right now, you can find it in your archive. So when you go to your profile, go to the top right-hand corner where those 3 little lines are, where like your settings and stuff is. There's a little bit that says archive. That's where all your old stories go. So if you wanted to go back to one that's already run out, that's from like last week, you could go back and see, so I shared a poll last week. You could go back and see who the people are that viewed it and voted for that poll from last week. It doesn't last forever. There is a deadline. I think it's a week, but sometimes it changes of how long they'll keep that information for. But I would say that you probably do need to follow up within the week. Otherwise, it's going to seem like a wasted opportunity, and someone might have indicated something to you a while back and you're only just replying to them. So in the best case scenario, we want to be doing this every day, but I know that we're all busy. A couple of times a week is probably a good framework to do it. If you're putting stuff on stories and then never looking at the insights and never replying to anybody, we need to start doing that, because there's likely to be people there that are interested that you just haven't spotted and you haven't replied to. And this is why we do the engagement session on a Thursday at 11. So we have that half an hour where I get you to watch people's stories. I get you to see who's interacted with your stickers. I get you to reply to those people, because I get it, we're all busy. It's one of those things that falls off the list. But during that half hour, I make sure that we get that done at least on a weekly basis. Awesome. That is everything that I wanted to share with you. I mean, I could go much, much deeper, but I want to give you a chance of just having a little play around now with maybe the hands-free feature, looking at the stickers, looking at your insights for maybe some of your recent stories, just having a little feel around for it. Maybe you want to jot down the schedule. If I put the schedule back up on the screen, you could jot down the schedule. I will take a little screenshot of it and put it in our group. Screenshot, let's make it bigger. yeah, so have a play around. Have a think about whether you can habit stack it with something. Because if you are somebody that forgets, you know, that because this isn't a scheduled in thing, you just forget, what can you stack it with to kind of build that consistency with doing it more regularly? Awesome, awesome. Everyone's very quiet. What's that in the chat? Where will this recording be saved? Oh, Paula. I'll post it in the group. And I'll make sure it's on. I'll make sure it's with all the other trainings. But if you can't find it, I will send you the link, Paula. It's absolutely
thanks very much.
no problem.
I'm not complaining a customer came in, but it's just sod's law.
That's fine.
Lorna?
Yes, darling.
So one of the questions I have is when sharing other people, so like if I see a really funny reel or someone's posts, etc., and I can't remember, I think it's reels where I struggle with sharing reels or actually sharing anybody else's content to my stories. What's your tips? Do you have any tips on that?
So are you using the little aeroplane sharing icon?
I would think I was. I would think I would have been. I don't know. I sometimes think, you know, I see other people sharing other people's content and I'm like, oh, that's really, really cool. That's really great. And then I go to do it and I'm like, it's not so cool. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Because it says, I get to the aeroplane and then it will say share to. And so in this situation, it's like, so I'm seeing like there's a post or something and it's, hold on, let me just see. Maybe I was in something different. Yeah, okay. All right. So it's only other people's reels that I can add to story. But I can't add somebody else's story to my story.
Right. So you can share somebody else's reel or somebody else's feed post. You can only share somebody else's story if they have tagged you in it. If they've added you in it, then you'll get a notification to say so-and-so has tagged you in this story. You could share that then, but you can only do it if they've mentioned you. So on someone's reel or someone's post, if you wanted to share it, you click on that little aeroplane icon, which is right next to the like and the comment. So you've got like, comment, and then aeroplane, and that's the sharing symbol. And when you click that, it gives you options to share it to a specific person or add it to your story. So along the bottom there, you've also got a little icon for threads if you want to share it to threads, but we won't talk about that today. You can add it to your story. You could also copy the link if you wanted to share it onto Facebook or whatever, for example. So when it first opens up the menu, when you press that aeroplane symbol, this is to like share it to specific people. So if I saw a meme and I was like, Sam's going to find this hilarious, I'll send it directly to you. I would just find your name and send that. Whereas there is an option at the bottom here that says add to story. So that's the one you click. When it does that, I mean, I've just found a random post. It will have that post and it will have their name underneath so that people can see that it's not something that you've made, it's from somebody else.
Good. Okay.
And you can share it like that. You could just click, you know, your stories and share it like that. What I like to do is kind of add something else to it. So I might add a little comment to it or a sticker or this is exactly how I'm feeling or this is bloody hilarious or whatever. I would probably add some other little note of mine on top, but you could just share it like that if you wanted to as well.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. What's Kerry put in the chat there? Are you able to share in the group the things you didn't know in the group? I've been asleep for the past 3 days and tend to miss a lot when I'm at school. What I can do like a little post in the group and just say, for anyone that was on the training, share what you learned or share something that you didn't know before. That might be quite nice. I can do that. It's difficult to sort of share stuff that you don't know because you don't know it. So you don't know. Do you know what I mean? So, but I can do a post in the group that's like, what did you learn from the training this week? Or was there a new thing that you found out that you didn't know before? That would be a good idea.
I meant the things that you're sharing on your Instagram stories.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm missing them because I've been asleep the last 3 days, so I've missed the 24 hours. So
I've saved them all to my highlights. Oh, thank you about the highlights either, did I? Oh gosh.
Yay. Okay.
Reminded me. So if you wanted to save something that you've shared in your Instagram highlights that would still be relevant for somebody to come back to. So as an example, the series that I'm doing this week in my Instagram stories, it's like things I thought you knew. If someone misses it and wants to go back to it, like literally Kerry's just prompted me to explain, I've saved it into a story highlight, which are these little circles on my profile. Okay, so if you click into any of these, you will open up stories that have expired. It may be old stuff, but it may be stuff that people want to go back to. So although it's not on my feed, and it could have been on my feed, and actually I have shared stuff about it on my feed, if there's things in your stories that you think are relevant for people to go back to, you can save it in a story highlight. And all you need to do if you want to save something into a highlight is there's a little button at the bottom that says highlight, and you can choose which one. They're like little categories, they're like little tabs. You can choose which one you want to add it to. And then anyone can go back to it. So I have made a highlight for you, Kerry. There we go.
Fabulous, thank you.
No problem. That's good. I missed that out. That's good info there.
Another
Any
question.
other questions? Sam, what else have you got for me?
So it's like I never turn up and then here I am. Music on stories, that doesn't matter, does it? We can just actually add whatever music. It doesn't matter if we don't, I mean, like, it doesn't matter if it's not trending audio or anything like that. It doesn't make a difference on stories, does it?
It doesn't make a difference because it's only going to be a subset of your audience that sees it. They've got that 24-hour window. You don't need to worry too much. Pick a song you like. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Lindsay.
Hello.
Hi.
When you are doing the hands-free recording,
Mhm.
can you put captions on as well?
Yes. So when it gets to the end of the 60 seconds and it stops you, it
Yeah.
will automatically start playing it, so you can check it, but then you can go to the sticker button.
Oh, do it the normal way.
Captions on. Yeah.
And that's how you add engagement stickers onto your hands-free talking stories.
Yes. So you do the recording first.
Yeah.
And then you add on captions or any other stickers afterwards.
Perfect. Thank you.
Wonderful. Awesome. Look at that. Bang on 1 o'clock. Like a pro. Yes, I will do a couple of posts in the group this week about sharing anything you knew that you've learned. You can always watch my Instagram stories this week for some more tips and bits and pieces. And if you get stuck with anything, reach out to me, send me a message. I will send you a screenshot or a voice note to point you in the direction. So I don't want anyone getting stuck, but anything else I can help you with. Otherwise, I'll let you off to go and start sharing bits and pieces. Rachel, did you want to share something?
No, I was just waving.
I'm just waving. Cool. I'll see you.
See you
I'll
later.
check out your stories. Have a wonderful time. Yeah. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.